Have you ever shared something online that seemed innocent, only to regret it later? What if the most dangerous thing you ever told didn't feel dangerous at all? There are secrets that save lives and secrets that silently paint a target on your back. There are secrets that protect you, guard you like armor. And then there are the ones that can get you hurt, or worse. Not because you were reckless, not because you had bad intentions, but because you trusted the wrong person at exactly the wrong time. Here's the hard truth. The most dangerous information isn't what others hide from you. It's what you reveal without realizing the price. Throughout history, lives have been destroyed by a single loose comment, a misplaced detail, a casual share made in comfort or pride. It only takes a moment, and today, with cameras in every pocket, social feeds broadcasting 24/7, and data trails tracking our every move, the tiniest detail you post can quietly light you up like a beacon. Most people never see it coming. In this video, I'll walk you through 5 secrets you should never share if you value your privacy, your safety, or even your life. And no, these aren't the usual "don't post your password" tips. These are the sneaky ones, the ones you'd never think twice about until it's too late. So whatever you do, don't click away, don't skip ahead. Every minute here could be the difference between being safe and being sorry. And hey, if protecting yourself and the people you love matters to you, hit that subscribe button. Let's keep each other sharp. Let's stay safe. All right, let's dive in. Number 1, never share personal financial information. Think about the last time you saw someone post a photo of their new house keys, standing proudly in front of a freshly painted front door, grinning, ear to ear, caption something like, "Finally a homeowner." Looks innocent, right? Just a feel-good moment. We're taught to celebrate our milestones, to document joy, and let the world cheer us on. Social media has turned life into a highlight reel, and validation, likes, comments, fire emojis, feels like currency. But here's what no one tells you. That feel-good post just leaked way more than you think. It silently told the world where you live, what you might be worth, and that you've just come into something valuable. It wasn't just a life update. It was a roadmap to your vulnerability. Let me give you a real example. A friend of mine, Rachel, bought her first home a few years ago. Early 30s, single, worked her butt off to make it happen. She was proud, and she had every right to be. She posted a few happy snaps, keys in hand, welcome mat, a cozy front porch shot. In one picture, the street number was barely visible. Nothing flashy, just joy. Within 2 months, 2 break-in attempts, one while she was away for a weekend, the other while she was at work. Rachel didn't live in a bad neighborhood. She wasn't wealthy or showing off. But in that one joyful post, she unknowingly told the wrong people, "Here I am. I own something valuable, and maybe I'm not fully protected." You see, the danger isn't always loud. It's often quiet, watching, waiting, collecting clues. So ask yourself, what are you giving away without realizing it? Here's the truth about financial information. It's not just about what you say, it's about what you signal. A post about your brand new car, a casual comment about your salary or that big bonus, even just mentioning that you finally paid off your debt. These might seem like innocent updates, but each one is a breadcrumb, quietly leading the wrong kind of person right to you. We like to believe we're simply sharing life moments, but often we're broadcasting opportunity, not to our friends, but to opportunists. And here's a truth that might make you shift in your seat. Someone is always watching. Not everyone, not all the time, but enough that it matters. And no, it's not just hackers and scammers lurking online. Sometimes it's that co-worker you barely know, or that friend of a friend at a dinner party. It's the stranger who noticed your new designer shoes or luxury watch and started putting the puzzle pieces together. We often think danger looks like a shadowy figure in a dark alley, but more often than not, it's someone smiling at you while silently calculating your net worth. Here's something most people don't realize. Criminals rarely go after billionaires. Why would they? The ultra-rich have surveillance, private security, alarm systems, legal teams. They're too much trouble. But you're accessible. You've got just enough to make the risk worth it. You post vacation pictures while you're still away. You share updates about your big promotion. You show off your new tech, that kitchen. Remodel that designer bag. Without realizing it, every boast is a breadcrumb. And the psychological trap is so simple. We believe the world is cheering for us. And yes, many people are, but not everyone. Hidden in the shadows of those likes and congrats are people who aren't inspired by your success. They're resentful. They feel entitled to what you have. And they don't care how they get it. That's where Stoicism comes in. Quiet strength, inner clarity, and self-restraint. The Stoics didn't flaunt their achievements, not because they weren't proud, but because they understood this. True pride doesn't need an audience. They believed peace came from controlling your mind, your desires, and your actions. And when you start thinking like that, something changes. You stop oversharing. You start asking yourself, why do I want to post this? Is it about connection or validation? Am I expressing something or feeding my ego? You begin to see things clearly. You start to value your privacy the way a soldier values his armor, not to hide but to protect. So what's the solution? It's simple, but not easy. Be intentional about what you share and why. You don't have to lie. You don't have to be paranoid, but you do have to be smart. When someone asks how much you make, smile and say, enough to get by, I'm comfortable. Then shift the conversation. When you score a big win at work, celebrate, but with people you trust. When you buy something major, wait before you post. If you post at all, you don't owe the world a play-by-play of your success. The less people know about your finances, the safer you are. Not just from criminals, but from jealousy, manipulation, even legal complications. Treat your financial details like the PIN to your bank account. Share it with no one, unless you absolutely have to. And even then, ask yourself why. Because in this world, survival often comes down to one thing: knowing exactly what to keep to yourself. Earlier, we talked about the dangers of revealing too much about your financial life. But just as dangerous, maybe even more so, is what you reveal about your location. Because once it's out there, it's no longer just your information. What you choose to reveal and what you choose to protect can shape your safety more than you think. Oversharing might feel innocent in the moment. A quick post, a funny caption, a real-time update. But once that information is public, it's no longer in your hands. You don't control how it's used or who uses it. Privacy is power, silence is safety, and discretion, that's your shield. Use it wisely, consistently, and without apology. Secret number 2, never share your real-time location or travel schedule. Have you ever had that sudden icy jolt of fear when someone unexpectedly knows where you are? Someone who shouldn't. It's like a hand clenching the back of your neck. Instant, cold, and unforgettable. We're living in the age of casual oversharing, where most people don't even recognize the threat they've invited into their lives. You see it every day. Photos posted from the airport, check-ins at coffee shops, tags at restaurants, concerts, hotels, all in real time. We think we're just letting friends know what we're up to. But what we're really doing is handing out our most valuable asset, our exact whereabouts. And in the wrong hands, that's not information. That's a weapon. A few years ago, I knew a woman named Maya. She was newly engaged, full of joy, and loved documenting her life on Instagram. One weekend, her fiancé surprised her with a romantic getaway to Lake Tahoe. Excited, she posted everything: the road trip, their cozy cabin, the snowy trails. By day 2, she uploaded a glowing picture of them snowshoeing, captioned, "No cell signal, no problems." But there was a problem. Someone from her past, a man she'd cut off after a deeply uncomfortable encounter months earlier, had been silently watching her social media. He saw the whole trip unfold in real time. He knew where she was and, more importantly, he knew where she wasn't. While she was lost in snow and laughter, her apartment back in Sacramento was broken into. The intruder didn't just take valuables. He went through her closet, opened her drawers. There was no forced entry. It wasn't about theft. It was about control, about access, about a false sense of intimacy she never consented to. That's what made it so chilling. And here's the part most people miss. Not all threats are about money. Some are rooted in obsession, resentment, power, and revenge. When you overshare your location, you're not just showing where you are. You're offering a roadmap to every person who might want to find you for the wrong reasons. This isn't paranoia. It's pattern recognition. We've normalized broadcasting our whereabouts as if only friends are watching. But let's face it, anyone can follow you. Social media doesn't verify intent. That guy you met once at a party, the woman you used to work with 5 years ago, that anonymous account that liked your last 12 posts in a row, any one of them could be watching, and studies back it up. More than 78% of modern burglars use social media to pick their targets. They don't have to guess if you're home. You told them, you showed them, you posted it. And even beyond break-ins, there's something even more dangerous: predictability. You post your morning run at 6 a.m. every day, your yoga class every Wednesday night, your late-night walks when the world is quiet. To you, it's routine. To someone else, it's a schedule. And if they want to find you, they don't need to ask questions. They just need to watch. So why do we do this? Why do we feel the urge to post where we are while we're still there? It's human. We want to be seen. We want connection. We want people to know we're living a full, exciting life. But that craving for visibility, if left unchecked, becomes a vulnerability. This is where Stoic thinking becomes your lifeline. The Stoics teach us to value what we can control and to let go of what we can't. Your safety is something you can control, but only if you stop offering your location up for public consumption. The world doesn't need to know where you are. Your real friends will still care about you without seeing every update. And the people who don't care, they're the ones most likely to weaponize what you share. The Stoics believed in inner strength over external validation. They trained themselves to fully enjoy life's experiences without needing to display them. That's the mindset we need now more than ever, especially in a world where everything is content. When you live with Stoic discipline, you learn that not everything meaningful needs to be shared in the moment. You delay gratification. You protect your peace of mind. You start to realize that your safety, your privacy, and your inner power are worth far more than a few likes or heart emojis. You begin to ask yourself, What do I gain by posting this? Right now? Who do I really trust with this information? What happens if the wrong person sees this? These kinds of questions, although simple, are actually more powerful than any home alarm system. They make you less predictable, less exposed, and far harder to manipulate. So what should you do? Shift your timing. Take all the photos you want, but post them after you're safely back. Found a cool restaurant? Great. Share it after you've left. As for your daily routines, only talk about them with people you know deeply and trust completely. And above all else, do not tag your location in real time. Remember, caution is not the same as fear. Being cautious simply means you're aware. You see the world as it is, not as you wish it were. Today, even joy can make you a target if you share it carelessly. But when you protect your location, when you guard your movements, you reclaim control. You turn your life from an open invitation into something sacred and secure. Because the most dangerous people out there don't need to break in. They just wait for you to open the door. And if your location is public, you may have already left the door wide open. Privacy is the modern-day fortress, and the strongest walls aren't built out of fear, they're built with intention. Stay quiet, stay mindful, stay stoic. If you found these insights helpful, let me know by commenting yes below. Your voice matters, and I'd love to hear from you. Now on to principle number 3. Never reveal information about your home security system. You've heard the phrase, "The walls have ears," right? Well, today, those ears don't belong to walls or forests. They belong to people who have no business knowing anything about your personal life. And yet, they might already know more than you think. In a hyper-connected world, where our instinct to share has been rewired by likes, views, and attention, even the most innocent details can become cracks in your armor. One of the most dangerous things people casually talk about, without realizing the risk, is their home security. Or worse, the lack of it. It often starts with a sense of pride. Someone just installed a new system, motion sensors, cameras, smart locks. They post a selfie in front of the control panel, captioning it with something like, "Finally upgraded the house." It sounds like a responsible move, right? But in reality, they've just published a detailed blueprint of their home's defenses to anyone out there watching with bad intentions. They've turned what should be their strongest protection into a public challenge for someone trying to bypass it. What was meant to discourage threats could actually invite them, because now the wrong people know exactly what kind of system they need to disable, and more importantly, how valuable that home must be to deserve such protection. In the previous part, we talked about how bragging about your security system can accidentally make you a target. But here's the flip side. Downplaying your setup can be just as dangerous. It might sound modest or even charming when someone says at a dinner party or in a neighborhood group chat, "Nothing to steal at my place," or "Never needed a security system." But what they're really broadcasting is this: "My home is easy to break into." And criminals, like water, flow where there's the least resistance. They're not looking for a challenge. They're looking for an opening. And when you announce that you have no alarm, no dog, no neighbor checking in, that's not just a harmless comment. That's an invitation. Let me tell you about Greg, a guy I knew back in college. A few years ago, he moved into a new house with his wife and young daughter. Being a tech enthusiast, he invested in a top-tier safe to store some cash and family heirlooms, including a vintage watch passed down from his grandfather. He was so proud of it, he mentioned it during a casual conversation in a home renovation Facebook group. He talked about the brand, the biometric lock, even joked about the location. Tucked behind my suits in the closet like a Bond movie, he laughed. He wasn't trying to show off. He was just excited. But a few weeks later, while the family was out of town, their house was broken into. Nothing else was touched. No TV, no laptop, just the safe. Gone. You can guess what happened. It didn't take a master thief. It just took someone patient enough to watch, listen, and make a move. That's what most people miss. Not all criminals are impulsive. Some are calculated, observant. They study behavior, routines, and, most importantly, the information we willingly share, both online and in casual conversation. Greg's mistake wasn't buying the safe. It was talking about it where strangers could hear. And we all do this more often than we think. We post house tours on social media, proudly showing off our remodeled kitchen and casually saying things like, bedrooms are way in the back, far from the street. We joke with co-workers about keeping grandma's jewelry in the nightstand. We mention that there's a gun under the bed. It feels normal, relatable, like bonding. But what we're really doing, we're handing out a playbook, a strategy, a reason for someone to make a plan. Psychologically, this comes from a deep need for validation, for someone to recognize that we're doing something right, that we're prepared, that we're safe. But real safety, it's not performative, it's private. The Stoics have taught us this for centuries. Epictetus once said, "Be silent for the most part, or if you speak, say only what is necessary, and in few words." That's not just advice about conversation. It's about control, discernment, restraint, knowing what not to say. To live stoically is to recognize that external validation, whether it's praise, envy, or curiosity, isn't proof of success. And talking about your security setup, your valuables, or your weapons, it doesn't make you look smart. It makes you vulnerable. Because true strength is quiet. A fortress isn't powerful because people see its defenses. It's powerful because no one can figure them out. So, how do you talk about your home without putting it at risk? You don't unless it's absolutely necessary. If you have to discuss security, keep it vague. A simple, "I'm covered" is more than enough. If someone asks what valuables you own, steer the conversation elsewhere or answer broadly. When sharing about home renovations or layout changes, talk about the outcome, not the blueprint. Building. On the previous discussion about protecting your home and sensitive information, let's now explore why it's crucial to distinguish between what feels good to share and what's truly smart to share. Learn to separate the things you feel like sharing from the things you should actually share, because once the wrong person knows what you own, how you protect it, and where you keep it, you no longer hold the advantage. You've handed it over. In today's world, where information spreads faster than consequences, that handover can have devastating effects. Your home is your sanctuary. It should feel like a fortress, not a stage to display your life. Keep your defenses silent, keep your possessions sacred, speak less than you're tempted to, and guard your privacy like it's the lock on your front door, because it truly is. Now let's talk about something equally important. Don't share personal or family weaknesses. When most people think about personal safety, they picture alarms, locks, street smarts, or carrying self-defense tools. But there's a different kind of threat, one far more insidious. It's not physical, it's psychological, and it starts when you reveal too much about your vulnerabilities. This danger doesn't come at you wielding a weapon. Instead, it creeps in quietly disguised as understanding, curiosity, or connection. By the time you realize what you've given away, the damage is often done. This risk isn't theoretical. It's real, happening quietly every day. I remember a man named Jordan, soft-spoken and in his mid-50s, who had recently undergone chemotherapy. He openly shared his experience in his local community group, hoping to inspire others and find support. People applauded his courage, but among those applauding were eyes that didn't see inspiration. They saw opportunity. Jordan lived alone and was often fatigued. One day, someone used that knowledge to break into his home while he was asleep, heavily medicated with painkillers. He never saw the intruder. They didn't need to confront him because they knew he wouldn't be a threat. This is the harsh truth. When you reveal specific details about your health, trauma, emotional wounds, or fears, you're handing someone the blueprint to hurt you. And not everyone who listens wants to help. The desire to open up is deeply human. We want to feel understood and connected. Vulnerability can be beautiful when shared in the right space with the right people. But most of us have been conditioned to overshare, to expose parts of ourselves without discretion, often in public spaces not meant for such truths. Whether it's a Facebook comment, a casual story at a social gathering, or a confessional TikTok video, too many reveal personal details that should stay protected. And when those details fall into the wrong hands, they don't just inform, they invite exploitation. Think of it like this. Manipulators and predators are opportunists. They study weaknesses, not out of immediate malice, but calculation. Someone who knows you fear confrontation will test your limits subtly. Someone who knows you live alone and struggle with mobility sees an open path. Someone aware of your abusive ex, phobias, or guilt now has tailored tools to manipulate you. And that kind of harm is deeply personal. It's not general violence. It's targeted destruction. Continuing from the previous point about caution in sharing personal and family information, let's dive deeper into how oversharing can unintentionally put your loved ones at risk. Even when we believe we are protecting others, sometimes our openness actually endangers them. Sharing too much about an elderly parent who lives alone, casually talking about your child's after-school routine, or mentioning a sibling with a disability who stays home during the day. These details may seem harmless, but they are maps of vulnerability. You might be putting those you love in danger without even realizing it. The Stoics had a very different approach to personal disclosure. They weren't cold or distant, but deliberate. Chrypus once said, "The wise man will speak correctly and with restraint. He will confess not to everyone, but only to those who are suited to hear it." And it's in this idea, only to those who are suited to hear it, that true power lies. Stoic philosophy encourages us to be measured in what we share, not out of fear but out of awareness. They understood that some things are meant to be processed quietly within ourselves or shared only with trusted counsel, not exposed to the world. To live stoically doesn't mean to be silent or isolated. It means recognizing that not all truths are meant for public ears. It means understanding that self-protection is not shameful but wise. Your vulnerability is precious, and in the wrong hands it becomes a tool for harm. If you've experienced trauma, live with health challenges, or are emotionally recovering from loss, choose carefully who you tell and how. Use private channels. Seek professional support. Rely on people who have earned your trust. In public, keep things general. You don't owe strangers your pain. You don't have to explain your struggles to those who haven't proven themselves safe. And if you feel the urge to share, ask yourself why. Is it to connect or to be seen? Sometimes what we really want is simply to hear, "I get it." But that validation isn't worth handing over the keys to your personal security. You can heal without broadcasting. You can connect without exposing yourself. You can be strong without being visible. Think about your own life. Have you ever shared something personal only to regret it later? Has anyone ever used your openness against you? Let me know in the comments. Your story might help someone else realize what's really at stake. Because ultimately, your safety isn't just about what you can defend against. It's about what you don't reveal. Your most valuable armor might not be your strength. It might be your silence. And here's another crucial point. Don't share information that could be used for identity theft. When was the last time you really stopped to think about what you share online? Not just the obvious things like passwords or credit card numbers, but the little everyday details. A throwback post about your childhood dog, a comment about your mum's maiden name when discussing family genealogy, or a story where you joked about the old street you grew up on. These seem innocent, even charming. But in the hands of the wrong people, these small pieces become fragments of a map that leads directly to your identity and vulnerabilities. Imagine every piece of personal information you share online as a puzzle piece. One piece alone seems harmless, but when a determined person collects enough of these fragments across your posts, tags, comments, and public profiles, they form a very clear picture. Not a story about who you are, but a profile that can be used to impersonate you, hack you, scam you, or even destroy your life. And here's the real kicker. Building on the importance of guarding what we share to protect ourselves and our loved ones, let's explore how everyday oversharing online can quietly expose us to identity theft. Most of the information that puts us at risk isn't stolen by force, it's given away freely. Not because we're careless, but because society has taught us that sharing equals connecting, and openness means authenticity. But in today's world, that's not always true. Take Melissa's story as an example. She was a bright, savvy young teacher who loved doing about me quizzes on Instagram stories. Favorite band, Pearl Jam. First pet's name, Lucky. Hometown, Dayton, Ohio. She even posted a nostalgic photo of her first car, a silver Toyota Corolla, and shared a graduation picture clearly labeled with her high school's name. What she didn't realize was that she had just publicly answered almost every standard security question, protecting her email, banking apps, and online shopping accounts. Before long, Melissa's inbox flooded with alerts, password reset attempts, unusual account activity, and her bank card was flagged. She got locked out of multiple platforms and spent weeks working with a cybersecurity expert to untangle the chaos. What hurt the most wasn't just the hassle, it was the feeling of betrayal. She hadn't been hacked by a sneaky criminal in the shadows. She had handed over her security to the world, one cheerful post at a time. This is the reality of modern identity theft. It's not a Hollywood thriller with a hacker in a dark room. It's someone casually collecting public breadcrumbs bit by bit. They aren't breaking in, they're walking through the door you left wide open. Even more chilling, when these pieces of information combine, they become dangerously powerful. A birth month mentioned in a Facebook comment, a high school mascot from an old yearbook photo, a joke about being class of 2007, or a tagged photo of your brother with your shared last name. Each seems insignificant alone, but together they reveal your age, birthplace, family connections, and sometimes enough to reconstruct parts of your social security number or craft convincing phishing attacks. Once scammers know where you bank or which apps you use, they don't have to guess. They create perfect-looking fake platforms and emails to bait you into clicking what looks like just another routine notification. This is where a Stoic mindset becomes not just helpful, but essential. Marcus Aurelius once said, If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. That clarity of purpose applies just as much to the digital world. Stoicism teaches us self-discipline, controlling what we can and letting go of what we can't, and what you can control is exactly what you choose to share. You can choose silence over impulse. Before you post, pause and ask yourself, who benefits from this information? Who could misuse it? Would I still share this if I imagined a stranger with bad intentions seeing it? Living by Stoic values means treating your personal data like your physical body, with respect, boundaries, and an understanding that exposure has consequences. It means knowing you don't owe anyone your full story, especially not the anonymous, ever-watching eyes of the internet. You can live fully without laying yourself bare. You can connect without handing over the blueprint to your identity. The solution isn't paranoia, it's precision. Use false answers for security questions only you know. Don't post about the apps or platforms you use for finances or shopping. Regularly review your online presence. Go through old posts, delete what no longer needs to be there, and tighten your privacy settings. Make it hard for strangers to piece together a version of you never gave permission to create. Just like you lock your front door without thinking, your digital life deserves the same care. Melissa wasn't careless. She trusted a system that rewards oversharing and punishes discretion. But we can break that cycle by choosing silence when it matters, guarding the small truths that seem too minor until it's too late. What about you? Have you ever shared something online that felt too revealing afterward? Or caught yourself answering a cute quiz without realizing the risks? Share your story in the comments. I want to hear what digital safety lessons you've learned the hard way. Your experience might be exactly the wake-up call someone else needs. And if this message hit home, don't stop here. Click the suggested video on your screen now. It's packed with practical strategies that build on everything we've covered. Because in a world where information equals power, the smartest move you can make is protecting what you know and keeping the rest to yourself. That's not fear, it's survival. That's Stoicism in action. If you've made it this far, you're not just watching a video, you're waking up. These 5 secrets aren't random tips. They're your personal firewall in a world that's watching, listening, and waiting for you to slip. You don't need to live in fear, but you do need to live smart. Protecting your life starts with protecting your information. So here's your next move. Hit that subscribe button. Stay close. Stay aware. I'll keep showing you what others overlook. And if this opened your eyes, share it. Someone you care about might need this more than you know. Your safety is your responsibility, but you're not alone. Let's keep building your defense together.